So just bring your mind to the base of your spine and then move up slowly along the spine, bringing awareness as you go right to the top of the head. Come now to the top of your mat. Lift and roll your shoulders. Inhale, raise your arms, stretch your hands, and either look ahead or look up. Breathing out, bend your knees, hands either side of your feet. Step back, right foot, left foot. Stay high in plank. Your heels are up to the ceiling and your lower abdomen is engaged to keep you in a straight line. Bend your knees and come to lying. I'm going to come through on my elbows. Then stretch your hands straight out in front of you. Slide your hands back to either side of you, elbows are in. Press your hands down to come up to kneeling. Tuck your toes and come into a downward dog, bending your knees to lengthen your spine first and then stretching your legs. And feel free in downward dog to widen your feet. Bend your knees and straighten them again. Soften your knees, it extends your spine, and then begin to straighten your legs again. Bend both knees, bringing the left knee down, hands go to the left as you have space for your right leg to come up, and hands go either side of your right leg. Just enjoy the stretch from your tailbone to the top of the head and feel the stretch in your out right thigh. Tuck your left toes under and your lower abdomen comes in. Lift your left knee and step your left knee to your right foot. Press your hands, both of them against your shins, to lengthen your spine and your chin tucks in. Breathe out, bend your knees and bend your elbows. Breathe in, press your hands once more on the shin and then stay here as you breathe out. As you next breathe in, soften your feet, press them into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra at the standing. Stretch your fingers and breathing out, lower your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up. Look either ahead or back if that's good for your neck. Breathing out, bend your knees and lower, hands either side of your feet. Step back with your left foot, you're staying high, right foot high. Adjust your feet into plank, heels up, lower abdomen engages, in slightly to the spine. Bend your knees and come to lying onto the floor, your mat. Stretch your hands out, really stretch your hands away from you and your feet away from you. Slide your hands back to press your hands on the ground, elbows in. Onto your knees, tuck your toes, tummy or lower abdomen into the spine as you come into downward dog. Separate your feet to a more comfortable dog and then either bend both knees at the same time to lengthen your spine and straighten, or walk the dog bending one knee and then the other knee. Bend both knees to the ground. This time your right knee comes down first and your hands go to the right to give space to your left foot coming up. Hands either side of your left foot. Feel the stretch along your thigh and particularly around your left thigh. Tuck your right toes under, lower abdomen comes in again and you engage your perineum slightly. Lift your right knee, step your right foot towards your left foot and then place both hands on the shins as you breathe in. Breathe out, bend, soften your knees and soften your elbows. Breathe in, straighten your legs and press your hands on your shin, you're lengthening along from your tailbone to the top of the head. Stay here as you breathe out and then breathing in, press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Stretch your fingers up, looking either ahead or up, lower your hands. So the next round is going to be much quicker. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Breathe in, hands up. Breathing out, bend your knees, hands down. Right foot back, stay high, left foot, you're in plank. Bend your knees, come to lying as you breathe out. Roll your shoulders, press your hands down, tuck your toes, come to downward dog. Widen your feet if you need to and walk the dog a couple of times, stretching back. And then bending both knees, left knee comes down, right foot comes forward, hands either side of the right foot, tuck your left toes, lift up your left knee, step left foot to right, hands on the shins, lengthening along your spine, breathing out, bend knees and elbows out, breathing in, press on your shins again, lengthen your spine, stay here as you breathe out and breathing in, press your feet down as you roll up vertebra by vertebra, stretching your hands up. Breathing out, lower your hands. Inhale, exhale, hands together at the heart centre. Breathing in, hands up. Breathing out, come to hands either side. Left foot back, you're staying high. Right foot back, you're in plank. Hold plank, heels up. Bend both knees. Come to lying. Stretch your hands out in front of you. Enjoy the stretch. Bring your hands back, elbows in, press down to come and tucking your toes underneath into soft downward dog. Widen your feet if you need to. Walk the dog. One knee bends, the other knee bends. Stretch both legs back. Your heels don't have to touch the ground, but they aim towards the ground. And then bend both knees. Right knee comes down. Left foot comes up. Hands either side of the left foot. Tuck the right toes. Lift up the right knee. Right foot to left foot. Hands on the shins. Breathing in, lengthening along the spine, breathing out, bending in, breathing in, lengthening. Stay here as you breathe out, and breathing in, pressing your feet down as you roll up vertebra by vertebra, breathing out, lower your hands, lift and roll your hands, bring your hands at the heart, bend your knees, and then come down to the mat, and come to have your legs out in front of you. Lift one bottom cheek up and then the other bottom cheek up, and hands either side of you. Just bounce your legs, circle your ankles in one direction, then the other direction. Stretch your toes and bend now your left knee up, placing the sole of the foot to the inside of your right leg. You can always have a support underneath your right thigh if that's helpful for you. Extend your left heel, toes are up. Breathing in, raising your hands up, either thumbs together or palms together, and then turn towards your outstretched left leg. Either come straight down, or if you want to soften this for your lower back, bend your elbows and slide your hands down your shin. I'm going to take it's my left leg that's out, I'm going to take my right hand to the outside of my left foot, and then my left hand goes behind, so this increases the stretch along the right lower back, and it's a muscle called the, I'm getting it muddled up now, quadratus lumborum. It's very much implicated in something that can not get stretch. And then just breathe in and out. Your chin is down, looking either to the floor or behind you to your hand behind you. Just enjoy again the stretch that you will feel on the outside muscle, the piriformis muscle of your outside right leg. And then as you breathe in, slide your hand up your leg. This time your right hand goes behind and you're raising your left arm, looking up at your left thumb. And you can either stay here enjoying looking up, or if you want to take this a step further, roll to the right, press down your right hand as you lift up. Your chin tucks in so that the back of your neck is long, and it becomes a long stretch along your left side, your left flank. Breathing out, come back down to the mat, and then bend your left outstretched leg so that you're in a double V. Again, if your bottom's not quite touching the ground, you can always have a cushion or a support underneath here. Feel free to adjust your legs. Hands either side, as you turn to the right knee and walk your hands forward, either coming a little bit down or coming right down. And again, this is a lovely stretch out. Your chin is down, back of the neck is long. It is a perfect hip pose. There are 5 hip poses for perfect hips, and this is one of them. Walk your hands back, hands either side of your hips to support you, legs out again as you bounce your legs. And then if you are taking support, move your support to the other side, in this case to my left side, as I extend my right heel, bend up my left leg, hands either side of me to lengthen my spine, and breathing in, raising the hands up. Turn towards the outstretched right leg and coming down to slide your hands down your right shin. This is in Sanskrit, Janusirasana, head to knee pose. It's a rotation, a forward bend, and very calming to the nervous system. It opens your lower hips so it connects into the lymph system of your lower part of the body. And breathing in and breathing out. So you can take your left hand to the outside of your right foot to increase the stretch, and then your right hand behind you, looking either down at your leg or behind you towards your back hand. It's quite a strong stretch. Engaging the heel with the toes up, make sure that you're engaging the muscles either side of your leg. And then sliding your hands up. Raise your right hand to look at your right thumb. And this is optional to roll over to the left side, press your left wrist down to lift up, and really stretch. Your right foot should be on the floor. Chin tucks in. It's a lovely long stretch across now the right side of the body. Breathing out, lower the bottom back down to the ground. And again, bending up your outstretched right leg into a double V, your perfect hip movement. You can always put a cushion or a bolster underneath your bottom just to even out your bottom cheeks. And then turning over, in my case, my left knee as I walk forward a little or as much as I like over my left knee coming forward. Stretching the hands out. You can carry on and walk your right hand over to the left, which gives even more of a stretch on the right side. Careful not to stretch so much that you're lifting your right bottom cheek totally off the ground, but having said that, that's easier said than done. Walking your hands back, hands either side of you to support you, and then coming into bound angle pose, which is called Baddha Konasana or cobbler's pose. The soles of the feet go together. You can either hold in your big toes, clasping your hands together, slide your hands back so that your thumbs massage your insoles. Or if you want to, you can slide your hands further up to your ankles or even your shins. Just adopt the pose that's most comfortable for you. And again, you'll notice that you are opening out your lower groin, which is part of your lymph system at the lower level of the body. You can, as I said, massage the instep, your soles of your feet. And these represent your body. There are energy meridians that run down through the body and finish in the feet. So this correlates with your body. Your big toe would represent your head, and your instep towards the heels, around the intestine, the lower intestine. So just massage where it feels comfortable. Be aware also that the tops of your feet, the backs of your feet, if you massage or stroke that represents your lymph system again. So lymph represents your immunity. So moving the feet is very helpful both for circulation and boosting immunity. And then sliding your hands up underneath your thighs to bring them together. Come to kneel, and we're going to transition now, moving from the base chakra or energy center that we've moved slightly up into the lower abdominal area. And we're going to come onto our hands and knees to do a cat-cow. Cat, as you breathe in, dips the back, looking either up or along the mat, depending on your neck. And cow rounds chin to chest. Once more, dipping your back, cat, and rounding chin to chest. Then move your bottom to the side and come to lying on your back. And hugging your right knee in towards you, your left leg stretches out on the ground and your left heel extends, so your left toes are pointing up to the ceiling. Just enjoy hugging the right knee into the chest. And then still holding the right knee into the chest, roll. You might like to hold the right knee with your left hand and have your right hand free to help you, but roll totally towards the left. And your right knee will aim towards the ground. You can have your right hand on your waist. You can have your right hand raised above you. Or you can have your right hand out, open like a book, which is very strong under the arms. You can have your elbow bent at any point, and your left hand can either rest holding your knee, or you can slide your left hand up your outside of your right thigh. It's a reclining twist, or a reclining rotation, very realigning for the body. And remember to keep your left heel extended to get maximum benefit from this posture. Your head can turn away from your knee or just look straight up. Again, you'll move different muscles as you turn, so it's up to you. And then very gently roll onto your back. Hug your right knee into your chest once more. And then support your leg as you slide the right leg away from you, extending your right heel. And now bring your focus to your left leg as you hug your left knee into your chest. Really enjoy that hugging in to the chest. And then, still keeping your right heel extended, you might like to use your left elbow to support you on the ground to help and assist you roll over to the right. Your left hand goes on your left thigh or your left knee. You can have support underneath your left knee in the form of a bolster or a cushion if you need it. And your left hand either rests on your waist or it's bent above your body, bent at the elbow, backs of the hand resting on the ground, or you can open your left arm like a book and really feel this strong pull under the arm, which connects in once more to the lymph system, the energetic system at the top of our body, the upper lymph system. We've got lymph nodes everywhere, but there is proliferation under the arms. And then your head can either look up or look away from your knees, very relaxed as to where your head is comfortable. Remember to extend your right heel. It's easy to forget that and let that right leg go slack, but not extend it so much that you're clenching your bottom, just a comfortable extension. And then rolling back, hugging your left knee once more into your chest. Now hugging your right knee into your chest, so both knees are hugged into the chest. Just rocking from side to side. And in this series, the next posture would be a seated forward bend, but we can achieve the same outline of that seated forward bend by staying on our backs, supporting under the thighs by holding our hands under the thighs. You might like to clasp your hands, and then both legs go up to the ceiling, and you can extend both heels. So you are in a seated forward bend, but actually lying on your back. Now, if you want to extend that pose even more, it's very important to check that your chin is not shooting up to the ceiling. But if you've got the capacity to slide your hands up the backs of your legs, stop where you feel that's right for you, because that increases the stretch. And if you've got the capacity or long arms, you can hold your thumbs and you can put your thumb and then your second and third finger over your big toes. You might find that it's easier if you open your legs slightly to accommodate this, and you can even slightly rock from side to side. You can bend your elbows, it's just as comfortable. If this is too much for you, then come back to holding your legs wherever they were comfortable. You can even slide and massage the backs of your legs. And if you do that, just again notice that where you've got the backs of your knees, you've got little dents that you would never really notice, and these are acupressure points. So they're again very healing and helpful just to massage the backs of the knees. And then hug your knees once more into the chest, rocking from side to side. And then supporting the backs of the legs as you place your feet on the ground. Your feet are hip width apart, and your knees are up to the ceiling. Your hands can either be resting on your abdomen, which will mean that your elbows are out to the side, or you can open your hands out, palms down, like a T. You could open them upwards, but here I'm going to suggest palms down. And now you drop both knees to one side, windscreen wiper action. Your head can turn away from your knee direction or stay where it is. Your knees and the head come central, and then back your knees go to the other direction as your head, if you're going to move, it goes opposite. So then just sway your knees from side to side in your own time. The wider you have your feet, and you can have them as wide as the edge of the mat, then the more your knees will drop into the centre as you sway from side to side, and the greater rotation you'll get. It's a very safe movement because the mat, and hence the ground, is supporting your weight. And then very gently come to the centre, hug your knees into your chest once more, roll to the side because we're going to come, or roll up to a seated position because we're finally or gently going to come back onto our knees again, and we move from the lower abdominal area slightly up now to the tummy or navel area. It's called the samana energy, and this very much connects into our inner power. We can often lose power and leak energy from our centre. So come to kneeling and come to another cat-cow, dipping the back, rounding the back, tuck the feet, come to a downward dog. So keep your knees soft, and then as you come up, extend your spine and then begin to lengthen your feet, your legs. And then bend both knees back to the ground. Your left knee will come to the ground. Hands go slightly to the left. Right knee and foot comes up. Feel that you can move your right foot out towards the edge of the mat to balance. You're going to bring your hands either side of your right foot and then use your hands to walk and kneel up. If you need support underneath your knee, you can roll your mat, just put a fold in your mat or have a cushion to support you. Now, normally you'd have your feet flat, but you are permitted in this pose to tuck your back toes under, but a lot of people don't like that tucked under feeling. So if you're good with this, kneel up, raise your left hand upwards. Here we'll look ahead, stretch your fingers, and I'm going to bring my left elbow across my right leg, hold my hands in a prayer position, and just rotate. So this is a rotation. My right hand presses down on top of my left palm. My head, back of my neck is long, my chin tucks in, and I either look straight ahead or look behind me. In theory, your palms should be level with your heart centre, which means a big rotation, but I'm actually not managing to do that, so I'm not expecting you to, but it's just an indication. It's a feeling of almost as if you're like laying your head on a pillow. Come out of that, hands either side of your right foot, tuck your left toes now, lift your left knee, step your left foot to your right foot, and keep your knees soft as you hold your second and third fingers under your big toes and your thumb goes on top. It's a circle of energy. Just relax your head, you can bend your elbows, you can bend your knees as much as you need to. You can then perhaps try straightening your legs, just feeling the stretch at the back of your legs. Everyone's capacity will be different.
Soften your knees anytime you need to. And then hands either side of your feet on the floor. As you step your right foot back, right knee on the ground, your left foot can go out to the edge of the mat, again for balance, and your back right foot can be tucked under or flat. Slide up, kneel up, and this time you're going to raise your right arm up, stretching your fingers, looking ahead, and bring your right elbow across your body to the outside of your left leg. Hands together in prayer. Press your left hand down on top of your right palm, and then press down really hard to within your capacity, which will lift your body up, and your heart centre might go vaguely near your hands. Turn, chin is in, which means the back of your neck is long, and either look straight ahead or look on the floor, and just breathe. You can look up to the ceiling, that's a greater turn on the neck. So just choose a neck position that's comfortable for you. Your tummy or lower abdomen is in, and your perineum is engaged. Everything is engaged. And then come out of that by placing your hands either side of your left foot. Tuck your right toes underneath, lift your right knee and step your right foot to your left foot. And either hold your big toe as we did before, or place your entire hand under your feet, bending your knees as much as you need to. Again, a complete circle of energy. You'll feel the stretch almost at the top of your back as well. Now, if you feel stiff, you can just rock from side to side, and that will stretch out. You're lifting your elbows forward, you're just stretching out from side to side, which can be quite satisfying. And then bending your knees, coming once more to lie on your back. And this is focusing on the middle Samana navel energy again. So these are going to be leg lifts. Now there are so many variations of leg lifts. The basis would be that you bend your knee coming in and coming out, coming up and coming down. But the original was much more hardcore than that. You would have your palms on the ground, and you would just literally extend your heels and lift your left leg straight up. Point your toes as you breathe out and lower your left leg. Extend your left heel straight up. Point your toes and lower. If you're finding that there's a gap underneath your back or it's straining, then you can bend your knee in as you're going up and either straight down, or bend your knee as you're going up and bend it as you come down. And there's always the option to keep the right leg bent as well as you're doing that. That softens the whole movement. So again, you've got lots of choice. And then bringing your focus to your right side as you extend your right heel, bringing your leg up as you breathe in. Hold the breath, and then when you're ready to breathe out, point your toe and lower your leg down. I'm going to bend my left knee and just do a modification, bending my right knee in as I go up, and then bending my right knee as I come down. But as I said, you've got so many variations within this. It's very good for the core, but not if you're feeling a strain at your lower back level. So these modifications are there to assist that. And then hugging both knees into the chest, rocking from side to side. The original series does have both double leg lift, but that is very strong on the lower back. So we're going to leave that today. And then just very gently roll to the side and come up to a seated position. Sitting comfortably, I'm going to sit in cross-legged position. And I'm going to effectively close my mouth and just focus on breathing out through my nose. So it becomes something called Kapalabhati, which is a cleansing breath. And it is
Last one. Breathing in. Hold the breath. And when you're ready to breathe out, breathe out. So we move now to the heart area. And depending on your knees, if you're able to come into kneeling, I'm going to go sideways as you can see what I'm doing. I'm sliding my right leg in front, over my left, and then sitting back. If this is too much for you, then just extend the underneath leg, my left leg, out. But if you can manage that, have a cushion underneath. Hold your right knee as you sit up. You'll feel this on the outside of your thigh. Raise your left arm, tummy or lower abdomen in, and then either hold your knee as you turn, or you can just bring your elbow to the outside of the leg, which is a strong position, and turn. This turns at the heart centre. Your right shoulder should be down. If that's too much, just hold your knee. That's a softer turn. And take a couple of breaths. Come back to the centre, just nod as a compensation, a nod to compensation. And then we're going to be swapping over. So hands either side. I'm now going to have my left leg coming in front of my right leg. So I'm bringing my left leg forward, over my right knee, and then I slide back. Remember, if that's too strong, then have your right leg, the underneath leg, extended out. Sitting up, you can always have support underneath your bottom. Breathing in. And then right hand up, tummy in. As you breathe out, and bring your elbow over, either outside of the left knee, or you can hold left hand behind. Breathing in, lengthen. Breathing out, turn. And the head is the last thing to turn. Press your hand down as you lengthen up, and breathing out, turn. Take a couple of breaths here. Come back to the centre. Just nod yourself forward. And then we're going to come to downward dog and to standing. But in this series, I can't do it. So you literally roll forward onto your knees, and then you jump back into a downward dog. However, for those of us who can't manage that, I'm going to unravel my knees to kneeling, and then I'm going to come into a downward dog with control. And then in this series, I'm going to soften my knees. I like to bring my left foot slightly forward. My right foot lifts up behind me and I extend my right heel. My focus is between my two hands, the space between my hands. I then bend my left knee and step forward with my right foot. My back left foot turns at a degree of 45 degrees. I press down with my right foot and I roll up into Warrior Two. I'm now going to adjust my back foot back, and I'm going to be looking over. It doesn't matter if you come up the other way. Looking over my right hand, and I drop my weight centrally. The focus also is on my back foot, that I'm not lifting my heel up, that I'm actually pressing down the outside of my back left foot. Very easy to slide and lift it up, but just press the foot down. And then come to bringing your feet parallel. And then turn your right foot in to a degree of 45 degrees. And your left foot out, your sopping sides. Bend your left knee, which becomes the front knee. Drop your weight centrally and look beyond the third finger of your left hand. If this is too strong for your arms and your arms are beginning to ache, You can always either have one arm on the waist or both arms on the waist. So it's an option. And then drop both hands and lift and roll your shoulders. And we're going to come into a triangle. So this time, put your right hand on your right waist, left hand goes out, stretch and extend over to the left, drop your left hand to your left shin, and open out, almost like opening a shell, so that this shoulder is out, chin in, either looking up or down or straight ahead. Slide your left hand down your shin, make sure that you're not coming forward but you're opening, and then if you optionally, you can come into a full triangle by raising your right arm. Your chin tucks in, either looking up or ahead or down at your left foot, whichever works for your neck. Feel that someone's pushing you or holding you on your right hip, that you're not coming forward. And take a couple of breaths here. Tummy in, lower abdomen in, engage your perineum to support you as you lift up, hands out, feet parallel, and then right foot out, left foot in. Readjust your feet. Place your left hand now on your left waist. Feel that you're opening here, that's back. The left shoulder is open out, back. Stretch forward. Right hand goes on the right shin. Open out like a clam. And then chin in, hands up if you want to. And feel that if you drew a line from your front right heel to the middle of your back arch, that your body, your spine, like a sail, it follows that line, it's parallel to that line. Because it's very easy to lose perspective of where we are and not to be straight. And then looking down at your front right foot, press your foot down to support you to come up, hands out, straighten your feet, lower your hands, and then what they call heel-toe feet in, heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in. And lift and roll your feet. Raise your arms, thumbs together as you sway gently from side to side in swaying palm. And then clasp your hands, reverse your palms upwards. And this becomes a balance where you lift your heels off the ground. And your heels are still lifted, but you lower your heels so that they're a millimetre off the ground. And that almost feels that you're resting into your heels, but they are still off the ground. It becomes a focus as well as a balance, and it's a left-right brain coordination. And then lowering your heels, lowering your hands, lifting and rolling your shoulders, and we still stay at the heart as we come onto bending our knees and onto the backs. And you can have support under your bottom, or you can have your hands under your bottom, or you can have your hands, palms down very tight to your bottom as you come to bend your knees, and you then, if you've got your no support, then just hands really close to your bottom into a very soft half shoulder stand. So this in yoga is called viparita. It's as you bring your feet slightly back, you're pressing. The idea is that you're pressing behind your heart, the middle of your back. So it's no pressure on your head, it's just the focus is the back of the heart. You can gently sway your feet from side to side. Check that your chin is not shooting up to the ceiling and the back of the neck is long. You can extend your heels and point your toes. You can circle your ankles one way and then the other way. And then very gently Bend your knees in, feet on the floor. We're going to come to lying on our front, so I'm going to press my feet down to lift my bottom slightly and remove my block. I'm going to roll to the side and come to very gently lie on the abdomen. My elbows come out to the side, I make a pillow with my hands and I rest. My head can be turned to one side or the other side or centre. Most people like to rest their head to the side. Just let your heels flop out and just wobble from side to side. And enjoy breathing in and out, just resting the body at this point. And then lifting up by pressing down on your elbows. Your hands go slightly in front of you, your elbows come in, and this becomes a Sphinx pose. Look down or along the mat. Becomes a slight back bend. You just look down and spend a couple of breaths enjoying the stretch. You're lifting your heart, strangely enough, because you're stretching up from the breastbone. It's a very soft pose. And then coming back down to the earth again as you slide your hands and your elbows out. Forehead comes to the ground, hands go behind you, bend both knees, feet up to the ceiling. You can widen your knees and you can either come to waving your feet from side to side in windscreen wiper, or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, hold one ankle and then the other and come into a bow, pressing your hands into your feet and coming up, and then breathing out, coming down. And you can repeat that or carry on with windscreen wipers. Breathing in, lifting up, and as you breathe out, come down. Release your feet gently, your feet are still up to the ceiling. Come once more to supporting you with your hands out, in a pillow and your elbows out to the side, and just windscreen wiper again. And then just lower your feet to the ground. Bring your knees slightly closer together to support you as you bring your elbows back in. Hands go back onto the ground. And you come up to kneeling. And then we don't often do this, but it is something called, it's got a very wonderful Tibetan name, but for ease of reference, it's called horse rolls. And rolling and massaging the spine at this point in the series is deemed to be very good. So I'm going to come onto the back and hold under the thighs and just rock up and down. Make sure your chin's in and you're just massaging along your spine at this point. If you don't want to be as energetic to do this, then just hug your knees into your chest. And then come up, slide your legs out. And we move now from the heart to the throat. Hands back, fingers pointing forward, and just lift your chin. Now then, that might be enough for you, but if you want to go to the next stage, then your head comes upright, you bend your knees and you come into a tabletop. So I'm not the best person to demonstrate this because I'm not very good at it, but feet down, lift up, you should resemble a table. Your head can look forward but actually ideally back. And then the third expression of this is almost impossible for me to do. Your feet should touch the ground. If they don't, you come back to tabletop, but you do a full reverse plank. So a full reverse plank is like that, like this. But you'll notice my feet are not touching the ground. And so because my toes aren't touching the ground, that's an indication that I'm not really up for that. So I should come back to tabletop or just looking up. And lifting the chest is very uplifting for the mood. And then once more, just sliding onto the back. And now there's the invitation for the full shoulder stand, but I'm going to do the abridged version of a half shoulder stand. So if anybody wants to do a full shoulder stand and come into plough with the feet touching behind, then please do. But I'm going to demonstrate with, once more, a half shoulder stand. If you're doing a full shoulder stand, remember to support under your back as you lift up. And plough, of course, is going back. An inversion is very good for the endocrine system or the glandular system, our hormonal balance. And you can always do an inversion by having the legs up the wall. You can slightly sway your legs from side to side. And when you finish, bend your knees, hug them into your chest, and roll either to the side to come up to a seated position, or just rock straight up to a seated position. Coming into a soft cross-legged position, breathe out through the nose. And as you breathe out, bring the lower abdomen in, engage your perineum up and hold the breath out, chin tucks in as long as you can. When you want to breathe in, just release all your muscles or your hold and breathe in, sitting up. Breathing out, curl down, chin to chest, tummy comes in, perineum engages, and then release as you come up. And then breathing out, coming in, chin in, and then coming up. So in this series, we do the fish. Now, the fish was in favour and then it was out of favour. The alternative to fish is bridge. So I'm going to demonstrate fish, and I'll also demonstrate bridge, and you choose which one you'd like to do. So fish, it's very important that you come with your elbows in. Then I'm coming back onto my elbows. I'm lifting my chest, pointing my toes, lifting my chin. So if you're not comfortable with your neck, then wait and I'll do bridge for you. And you always touch the top of the head on the floor. You're not putting any weight on your head or the crown. You're just literally making contact, and you stay here for a few breaths. If this is not right for you, then I'm going to slide my elbows out, bend my knees, and come into bridge. And there are so many variations on bridge. So this one is a very soft one. Bridge is palms down, pressing the palms down. As I lift my bottom, chin comes in and I lift my arms up. Breathing out, lower your bottom, lower your arms. Palms down. Press your feet into the ground as you lift your bottom, lifting up. Arms up. Hold the breath in. You start to breathe out, so the breath wraps the movement. And as you start to breathe out, you then start to lower your arms and vertebra down, back down to the ground. And we'll do this one more time. As you press your feet into the ground, lifting your bottom, lifting your arms, chin tucks in, lifting up as little as much as you would like. It's a very safe back strengthener. Your knees are, it's almost as if someone's got your hands on your knees. Your knees aren't splaying out. That's a very common thing with bridge. And then breathing out, lowering your bottom and your back down to the ground. And once more hugging your knees into your chest. Just rock from side to side or hug your knees in and still hold your knees. Let your knees drift away so that you're moving up and down your spine. It's your choice. And then roll to the side or come up to a seated position as we come now towards the upper part of the body, moving from the throat and coming now to the head. So classic yoga is a headstand, and with a headstand
You do child first, then you do your headstand, and then you do child. I'm not going to suggest we do a headstand, but I'm going to invite you to do child. And child has many variations. So classic child is knees out. You can have your hands in a fist or a pillow and rest forward. You can stretch your hands out, or you can have a bolster and stretch your hands out. Or classic child is the palms up, so that you're opening across your back. Just take a couple of breaths here. And feel the stretch across the back as the vertebra, your body, rounded like this, creates space between the vertebra. And it encourages the back, the breath to go into the back. And then alternatives to headstand. So either hands either side of you, and just you rock slightly forward on your head. For those of you who are into headstand, this would be the time to do a headstand. I'm suggesting we just keep like this. But I will demonstrate a hybrid, which I won't, please don't do this if you've not done it before, but this, if you're familiar with it, then this also works well. I'm elbows in, lifting up with my feet, and walking my knees to my elbows. I'm now on the crown of the head, and I just lift my feet up. You could go into a headstand from here, but I would suggest, please, again, if you're not being used to this, my shoulders should be away from my ears, and then you're coming out by basically bringing the feet back down to the earth, rolling back, and coming once more into child's pose of your choice to let the body recover. And then very gently come onto the back, either knees bent or come into complete Shavasana. And we'll just do a very simple journey through the body, so resting for a couple of breaths, however it is appropriate for you. You can even stay seated if you want to. And relax the body. And bring your attention once more to the base of your spine. This was when we did head to knee pose. Our foundational energy. If this isn't right, nothing else is. Then we moved on a little bit further to the abdominal area. This is along the spine, but just inside the spine. And the abdominal area is, of course, your lower abdominal organs and links in very much to the element of water. And then we did the twists as we moved up behind the navel of the Manipura. It's called the Manipura energy centre, and that connects to our digestive system behind the navel. And then we focused a long time on the heart. Anything in Tibetan focuses a lot on the heart. And so the heart is the air element, and we focused on the front and the back. The back, if you remember, is when we raised our legs up and we pressed on the back. We did a rotation at the heart level. We did the warriors where you're lifting up your chest, and the triangle, all connected with the heart. Even the bow lying on our fronts and lifting the legs are connected to the heart. Sphinx as well. And then we moved up to the throat. And the throat area is when we did the tabletop. And we did the shoulder stand again. Some of these poses are fluid, they fit sort of into either category. And we looked at the fish and the bridge. And then we finished by coming up to the forehead and the crown of the head. In certain yoga traditions, they separate out the energy centres, and others they run them together, and here it's run together. So we did both at the same time. And we did the child's pose, You would do headstand if you were going to, or just rock onto the head, stimulating that point. And now we're resting, letting all the energy absorb back into the body. And you can either stay here, resting and enjoying relaxation for however long you'd like, or you can join me to finish the class. But wherever you are, either lying or come to seating, just mentally bring the hands to the heart, or physically bring the hands to the heart, and take a bow for yourself, for you to have a lovely day ahead, and wish anybody else that's in your thoughts today a wonderful day ahead. Take a bow for yourself, and know that your intention or your wish has been set for the day ahead. And thank you very much for joining me.